Welcome. This is a live about a last live I did, and it's titled. I changed it. It's titled "The Most Important Live, the Most Important Video You'll Hear." So, 4 days ago, I think it was 4 days ago, I had a download about what happened with Yeshua and the merchants' tables, and how the Catholic Church, the Bible, whatever you want to call it, had lied. Well, it lies a lot about a lot of things, but one of the things was about the children. The children. That's what set Yeshua off. And I'm not going to go over everything because I did a pretty thorough video, and I'm urging you to go look at it on my YouTube channel. It is the most important video I've ever created, besides the one on how to use water to manifest. Okay? This video is very important, because what is the most important thing that is fucking us up? What's fucking you up? How many of us have been molested? How many of us have that story? How many of us? They say that 3 out of 4 children have an experience of being molested or psychologically fucked with. I just reposted a video of a woman who said that her child was texted, and they asked for a picture of his face. And the next thing he was panicking. He was like 11 years old, and a picture of his face was shown on him, not with clothes. I'll put it that way, because again, I don't want TikTok to pull this. And he was freaking the fuck out, because at that point now they were saying, we will make these pictures of you go viral. This is an 11-year-old boy, mind you, okay? We will make these pictures go viral, and so you got to send us money. 11-year-old boy, like, how the fuck is he going to pay them? They're actually stupid on top of that, but okay. And she did see the pictures. The problem that I have with her is, why would you send pictures of your face? I hope to God she can let this little boy forgive himself for being so innocent, so naive, so ridiculous that he would send a picture of his face, which they manipulated on a body with no clothes, and it looked very real. Very, very real. Okay. What is the most important thing that has fucked many people up, it's driven people into addiction? It's molestation. It's being essayed as children. This is important. This is Yeshua walking through the merchant's table, the temple. Sorry, I can't talk. I'm kind of agitated and irritated, because what I'm seeing is an elite group that goes beyond the concept of how we understand elite groups. There's certain words I can't even say. They're connected to the third eye and the owl. The owl is, Masonic. I'll just say it like that, because I can't say it, because the last time I said it, my live was pulled down and I was barred from doing lives for a week. And I remember that word. It's connected to be illuminated. I'll say it like that. That's it. I'll just say that. And they're really fascinated with our children. And many of us have had these experiences to prevent our third eye from opening, to prevent our innate birthright of being psychic and telepathic. The reason why this planet is dense, I'm starting to realize that, because again, I'm having another download this morning after having a cup of coffee. And I might start crying, so please excuse me. Many of us have memories of being children and not just being essayed, but having weird nightmares that were repetitive, that we were being spiritually attacked. Because though we were these powerful souls in these little bodies, we were still dangerous if we were allowed to grow unfucked with. So how do you fuck power? You fuck children, meaning you mess up their mindset. Why? So that they don't feel worthy, so they feel the staining of shame. They can't even taste their own truth anymore, because it's been ripped out by adults who are deviant. And they are the soldiers of these weird dark forces. And what is the theme that have been really fucking with us as adults? What is the one thing that unhinges normal, healthy people? the abuse of children, in any form, the abuse of children. And it particularly is damaging to our masculines. I don't know what it is about us as women, but on a biological level, we can actually throw away toxins very easily. It's one of the things, the way we're wired, the way we're made biologically, we can take toxins from a vac and we can somehow purge it out of our bodies, whereas boys can't. They can't. That's why, for example, autism is mainly hits boys. Yes, it has girls. I know that. Don't go on my comments to say that. I know. I've studied this for 20 years. Trust me. 25 years, actually. So I understand. But we as women, we chose these incarnations as females to process a lot of shit that the masculine, for whatever reason, the masculine can do a lot of great things. Don't get me wrong. But I'm going to talk about what it is. We can hold space. We can process. We can transmute. We can do it physically and spiritually in ways the masculine can't. This is why Yeshua had his divine consort, Mary Magdalene. She could process some of the shit he was seeing, what he was experiencing. And trust me, when he was on the cross and she was witnessing, she was transmuting, trying to transmute the pain so he could go through an altered consciousness. So the pain would be so violent that it would create multiple some scars that would keep him in 3D. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but hopefully you do. And so the video I created, which is 3 days old, 3 or 4 days old, that says the most important video you'll see. And you'll see Yeshua. And I urge you to go on my YouTube and watch it. I very rarely, you'll never hear me, actually damn near never, hear me plug a video I've done unless I think it's important to ignite something. And I'll tell you why I'm telling you this. Because one of my clients, one of my group members, a divine healer in her own right, listened to my video and then started telling her twin about it. And before she finished, he said it was the children, wasn't it? That's big. Because something open. There was an activation. We are activating each other in how we speak about our own downloads. Don't be ashamed of, don't be ashamed of sharing clear downloads. Process it for a while. Right? Process it with your Doc Holidays, your healers, process it. But don't second guess and keep it in the shadows. Talk about it. Talk about it with people you really love and trust and who love and trust you so that you can see, is this real or not? Now, that's why I'm actually going live again to tell you to go listen to my that particular live, and you will see in the comments section, meaning in the description of the video, a breakdown, okay, of why when he was turning over the merchants' tables, it wasn't just about money. It wasn't about, banking in a temple, and, God's house, if you will. It was something much more deviant than that. And that's why they went after him like they did. And why is this important? Well, because why? Because look at what the planet has gone through in 2,000 years. What do they attack? What do they grab? What do they mess up? And how has this impacted our own generational trauma? Healing the family lineage. Some people call it family curses. And I'm going to go real with you. My grandfather was in a Jesuit boarding school in the I think it was 18, it would have been 1890 something, in a Jesuit boarding school being essayed. He didn't tell my grandmother until he realized that the Lou Gehrig's disease that he had was going to make him mute at some point. And he had to tell someone before he dropped his body. Okay? And that truth fucked that family up so bad, you have no fucking idea. And one of my uncles, one of his sons, continued. He actually essayed certain members of my family, including me. And why is this important? Well, because what it does is it shuts your ass down for fucking decades. And I had forgotten about it because the brain will protect you until you're ready. That's why you'll hear people in their 30s coming out and suing the Catholic Church or suing a temple. In some cases, there's a blackout for a reason. There was an incredible I wish the fuck I'd bought that book. And it was a psychologist who said that when kids were having these experiences, as it was happening, their guardian angels, I'm not kidding, this is a doctor, PhD, there was something she noticed with these children that literally it's almost like the guardian angel lifted the soul out of the body while the body was being used in these disgusting ways. And then when the act was done, it would drop the soul back into the body. It was almost like gathering it in its fold, in its wings, in its protective light. And so what happens for some is you forget. This is why I got into hypnotherapy, because when I went to my hypnotherapist, the first time ever in my whole life, I wanted to look at Egypt and this and that. And after discussing, she realized, and I realized, I think we need to handle this business. And I went, okay, let's do it. And I did. And it took me 5 years to get over it. In other words, it took me 5 years to heal this shock. You know what I mean? The shock. 5 years. And ultimately, what happened? Well, ultimately, I came into my power little by little by little. It was like a drip of reactivation, if that makes sense. In other words, what had been removed, what had been destroyed, had to be rebuilt. And it took time. Okay? And so when I tell you what I tell you about the merchant's tables, and when I tell you about what Yeshua was, what set him off, and what brought him to a place of losing his shit, he realized that to allow this to continue would literally wipe the power. Because what was he doing? Well, what was he doing was trying to teach people how to empower themselves. And if that work was being brutalized out of the most innocent, then his sermons, his teachings would fall into deaf ears. Deaf ears, why deaf? Well, because traumatized, shut down. That's why. And for 2,000 years, I'm going to say 3,000 years, this has been the norm. And it has. So the video, again, is called The Most Important Video You'll Ever See. And you'll see Yeshua with a lion. You'll see it. There are two videos like that. It's the one that's the earliest, the most recent. And hang on, I'm going to read your comments in a minute. We can help men to detox and children. Yes. I wonder if it's because we purge our mom line. It's because, we purge the mom line. Yes, we do. Yes, children in fear. Yeah, children in fear. Monster Inc. Remember? So I'm just going to say that for this divine masculine with his divine high priestess, just telling him the beginning of the story of what she had heard on my live, and I thank her. You know who you are. I don't want to expose you. You know who you are. Activated him. I got another download this morning. Many of us, I won't be here to see it happen because I'm old, but I'm older. Let's put it that way. But many of you are going to take the scriptures, and you are going to all deconstruct it, and you're going to write a new holy book. And this one will be filled with truths, the dark and the light, but the entire fucking truth. And this is something you guys will all co-create together. And it will come from some of the best downloads, in other words, downloads that are being replicated across the planet. Why is this important? Because we have to right the fucking wrongs, that's why. Because this book has been used to bully, destroy, and anyone who questioned its content, anyone who saw, for example, if I was preaching this right now in a town square 150 years ago, fuck, even 300 years ago, you know what would happen to me? You know. Especially as a woman, I'd be put in an insane asylum, or I'd be put in a nunnery, or I would be stoned to death. Let's be honest, or burned. So I'm not saying that we're coming up with new concepts that's never been downloaded. I'm saying we're going to be the first generation of starseeds to actually fucking be able to create this holy truth. Gathering the lost threads of truth. And a half-truth is still lying. Trust me. When he exposed what he had seen at this den of thieves to his apostles, at least one of them would have documented it verbatim in some way. Yes, I know it was an oral tradition. The oral tradition would have continued. At least one of them. Some of the other apostles, that are the most famous apostles, were part of the machine. It's kind of like having an agent for the 1%, who's part of your tribe, and you think you can trust them, but you can't, because they're actually working for the man, if you know what I'm saying. And I know that with the apostles, and everything I'm saying is in their little minds out there in the world, blasphemous. I'm seeing some of these preachers in this country that preach and preach and preach, and they speak in tongues, and they sound demonic, and they look demonic. You know exactly what I'm talking about. One of them is a woman that was hired as his main wingman up there in the White House. There's a deconstruction of evil that is happening. It is quite painful, because every time, like when many of you saw Sound of Freedom, I mean, I don't know if all of you saw it, but many of you saw Sound of Freedom, when you realized what was happening, when you realized what Mel Gibson went through to fucking make it happen, right? When you realize that Mel Gibson, in a drunken rage, said something anti-Semitic. Let's be honest, okay? We're not going to fucking be politically correct. And he was literally blackballed, besides what he said to his Russian ex-wife, or whatever the hell. I forgot what the hell country she was from, but his rant. We've all ranted, like we've all gone and lost our shit. We've all said something very inappropriate. Trust me, they're not walking around walking on water, these actors. I mean, look at P. Diddy. Clean as a whistle until he wasn't. Okay, and he's gonna walk. So my point to you, what is my point? My point to you is, again, like usual, because they're trying to pick a fight. They're trying to pick a race war. It's a class war. It's been a class war. It's always been a class war. And I don't know why they're fascinated with innocence and children. They're trying to pick a race war. It's a class war. It's been a class war. It's always been a class war. And I don't know why they're fascinated with innocence and children. Who knows why? And he might not be your cup of tea, but he fucking knows the tea on this shit. He's an expert. And that's David Icke. David Icke. Go on his website, David Icke, ICKE, David.com. Go check him out. Go check him out on Gaia.com. Watch his documentary on his life and how he got activated. We all have that possibility. Do you know why I meditate and he doesn't? Because he got the level of activation was so insane that and he survived it. Talk about Kundalini awakening. It exploded. You'll see. Okay, it's raining and I love the sound of the rain. And for people like me, it's raining and I love the sound of the rain. And for people like me, I woke up when I was born, and I remembered, okay, and I'm one of the lucky ones, not so lucky, because it's fucking painful. Massively fucking open. You want to talk about conspiracy theories? I was teethed on that. Conspiracy, let's theorize it. Why is it a conspiracy? What's wrong with this? Why does the fish stink here? What's going on? I was raised on that shit. And so I feel like, yes, and he spoke pure truth. And so, hopefully this isn't too loud, the rain. But you get where I'm coming from here? So the video I want you to look at on YouTube is the most important video you'll ever watch with Yeshua and the lion. You'll see. And I want you to comment. And I want you to tell me what kind of downloads you're getting from listening to that. And I want you to understand that the truth of Yeshua returning isn't in a physical way. He is not a match to 5D. And you would say, he could do anything he wants. I understand that, but you have to lower. Do you understand? I need you to understand the mechanics of dimensions, frequencies, and so forth. Okay. I need you to understand the mechanics of dimensions, frequencies, and so forth. Okay? Because I remember feeling when I actually had my own download when I did cacao ceremony and the grandfather medicine, and how I fell from 9th D into, well, I'm going to call it 5D, the beginning of this planet, was fucking not without its pain. And so for Yeshua to return in the physical form, he would actually have to lower his frequency to such a level that I don't think he would lose his consciousness, but he couldn't do it for too long. It's like deep divers that go under for 20 minutes. Or what is it, 20 minutes? Or is it 10 minutes? I forgot. Anyway, but deep divers that are champion deep divers, and they go into the depth of the ocean. It's called free diving. They can't stay down there for fucking 30 minutes. They'll die. So similarly, Yeshua cannot come here for like 10 years to die. So similarly, Yeshua cannot come here for like 10 years. It the frequency of such a high being. Number one. That's number one. Number two, he could come in plasmic form, in light, absolutely. He could come in plasmic form, in light, absolutely. But you have to make sure that you're careful with Project Bluebeam, because they're going to use that technology as well. You know who they are. And so there's a lot of toggling between truth, and this is why I've been pushing you, meditate, to develop powerful heart coherence. That's why. But I really need you to go see that video, because it changes so much. Okay, and again, the video is on my YouTube channel. It's the most important video. I said the most important video you'll ever see. I'm sorry. I know I sound arrogant. I don't mean to, but it should activate, especially in the Divine Masculine group. It will activate you. Something in you will bring you back. It will bring your root chakra back into power. Why? Because the minute you see the dark, you can't unsee it, and that brings you closer to your light. You go, oh my God, oh yeah, no, we're going, and then some light activation happens to empower you, to scour your root chakra clean. Unfortunately, there are too many men going through being molested, too many boys, too many babies. And for some reason, we'll put someone away for 14 years for on a 3-strike law. You know, the third strike is a pack of cigarettes, chewing, whatever, right? But a pedo will get a slap on the wrist, registered offender, and maybe an ankle bracelet, whatever, a monitor, for a year. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why that is not the most that. To do that to a child, and to allow a pedo to do that to a child, is akin to a serial killer, because you are destroying the child's autonomy, its feeling that it's safe, and you've just imbued that child with massive shame and self-loathing. Because no matter what, a child always feels responsible. Parent trap. Oh my God, my parents are divorcing. It must be my fault. Mommy, please don't leave daddy. I'll be better. I'll be good. I'll do my homework. This is how the child's mind works, even though we are infusing these child brains with our powerful souls. The density of these brains, the density of this frequency dimension in this planet corrupts the innate wisdom of the soul. It's not a joke. So the kid is feeling responsible for their own abuse. You really think Yeshua walked through the temple of God, saw them dealing with money, and that's what set him off, just because they were? You don't think he knew that already? Come on, let's wake up here. I mean, it's like you living in your neighborhood not knowing what the gas station's for. Hello? You know, it's a gas station. You know they pump gas. Now, if you walk through the gas station and you're seeing children in cages, that changed the whole fucking dynamic. Oh, yeah, they're not just pumping gas and selling chewing gum. They're doing something else. But I want you to go see it because I'm giving you scripture, by the way, just so you know, for those of you who don't believe. I have very low tolerance right now for people who don't understand what I'm saying. I'm not joking. I wish I was a better person when it comes to that shit, but I have zero tolerance. I'm sorry. But I'm going to say something. Somebody asked me, where is it in scripture? And I'm like, fucking look for it. You're so busy supporting that whole book. Fucking, you should know it better than me. And thank God on that live, a woman gave me the scripture. Because trust me, it wouldn't be me. I didn't come up with this. I knew the scripture of the den of thieves because I looked it up. But the scripture that supports what could have happened and why about children, yeah, what was it? Luke 17.2. She came up in my life saying that's the scripture that supports this shit. Put it through ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT not for anything else but playing chess. You know what I mean? I want it to play chess with me. In other words, I ask it a question, it'll say whatever the fuck I want. It thinks I want to hear or whatever, and this is what also many people don't know how to use it, in my opinion. This is how you use it. It'll say something you don't agree, and I need you to say, no, you're wrong. Check again. Wrong. Look elsewhere for the information. This is not the answer, and you know it. And that's how I talk to it. And I'll come back, no, you're right. Here's the proof. Here's the supporting proof. Don't take the first answer as the answer to anything, by the way, if you ever use this system. That's on the side note. Moving on, though, what the download I was getting wasn't through ChatGPT at all. Not at all. And I describe how it happened. And it changes everything. It changes fucking everything we've ever believed. And now at that point, we start seeing, we're connecting the dots. And we're going right back to source. The beginning, what I mean by source, I mean source in regards to Yeshua. Just like us realizing that she was never, Mary Magdalene was never a whore. Never. She came from a very wealthy family. The village was called Magdalene. And they lied. Just now that we know from by the way, from oppressed scripture, right? That she was his divine consort. Kissing her on the lips always. Oh my God, God forbid a man should love his woman. God forbid he should be a man who would be married to his beloved. God forbid he should have children. God forbid. Why is that important? Well, because what it shows is that we all have that capability. And is that arrogant? We're not asking to be God. You and I will never be the one who created it all. We're never going to be the one who created it all because we're not of that level of power, but we are creators. And we create other things as a fractal of the one who created us all. And we have that power to create. And that's why we have the power to bring this planet into 5D. And we have free will. And again, do with what you want with the free will. You can actually harm yourself or liberate yourself. You can harm others or help others. But the one thing that brought him to fucking rage, the one thing that brought us all to rage during Gaza, October 7th. Oh, look at what they did. Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad. But what was it that finally brought the world to its knees going, this is fucking enough? Children. It's always children. Starve me, starve my grandmother, snipe grown men, but you're going to starve baby. Oh yeah, we're done here. And I keep saying that because while we are a good people. We are a good people all over the world. We are fundamentally good. I mean, look at the response. Look at how our voices have changed politicians' dialogue. But in the same breath, look at how prevalent abuses of children are by a small group of deviant, I'm going to say it, motherfuckers. And there's something so brutal and so horrific that many of you who went to see Sound of Freedom, oh, it went viral for what, 9 months? And then everyone just went on with their life. Why? Because it was too hard on your nervous system to hold that space. It was too painful. And that is the one thing that would have set off Yeshua. Nothing else is as important as not gold shekels or gold coins or whatever the fuck, Roman coins. Please stop, okay? We know better. I hope we know better as a people. And so go listen to that video. I'm going to let you go in a minute. Go listen to that video. It's on my YouTube channel. The most important video you'll ever see. Yeshua in his line. You'll see it. And I really wish us all power and strength to move forward, because they are really trying to distract us in ways. There's a part of me that is going to say to you, I need you to sit with how they're really trying to fuck our consciousness, how they've kept us in poverty, enslaved, in fear, using methods that are absolutely disgusting, like FICO scores. Oh my God, if I have the big C, I can't afford the bill, it'll go on my FICO, they'll put a lien on my house. Or, oh my God, I'll have a FICO score, so it'll tank my FICO score. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm getting at? That's a form of enslavement. And those of you who say, oh, well, my FICO is 850. My mother's FICO is 850. So what? That doesn't make you a good person. There are people selling drugs that have a high FICO and a Black American Express card. Am I supposed to be impressed? Those of you who actually do it right are being punished by a system that is absolutely cruel. And so there are multiple things. And I've been wondering, because I'm not a Christian. Meaning, well, why would I be anyway? But I am a Yeshua devotee. I'll tell you that. And that's a whole different fucking way of seeing it. Why do you think I call him Yeshua and not Jesus? Isa. Now that I'll go with. And people like me are looking for the truth. We are looking for the activation of his actions and words. And many of us are going to start literally connecting the dots. We're going to help each other patch up a quilt of the entire story. Not the stories Constantine wanted us to know. Constantine wasn't even baptized, and apparently they baptized him after his death or when he was dying. He didn't even fucking believe in this shit. Just so you know. When he gathered his bishops at the Council of Nicaea, it wasn't because he was, oh my God, yes, Yeshua. Oh, I'm so devoted. No, he was a fucking conqueror. He was a piece of shit. And he did it to control people. He did not do it for the greater good. So when you look at the edited Bible, ask yourself, okay? Not to mention the King James Version. The only version you should look at, honestly, is directly translated from the Greek, Latin, and Aramaic. And those are hard to find. Usually those are old, from the 1800s. Those Bibles where you see the family tree. Yeah, go look for a Bible like that. That says on the book, translated from. Oh, Lord, there's so much we need to do. And we are walking towards the truth. We are walking towards the new earth. We're there. I keep saying we are walking there. I'm talking to you right now on a very 3D term. But again, let me remind you that we are in 5D. And my beautiful high priestess friend, client said, I brush my teeth in 5D. I eat my sandwich in 5D. I'm in 5D. Until it is so. Until it is so. I wake up with gratitude. If you wake up with anxiety, work on your chakras and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Or ahom prema. Ahom prema. Yeshua, it by the way means I am divine love. Sorry. Yeshua traveled to India the lost years, traveled to Egypt and traveled to Tibet. And you will have Bible scholars. See, when somebody says I'm a not a theologian, that's different. When somebody says I'm a Bible scholar, that means that they actually believe every fucking word verbatim. Verbatim. That means that they will not question a fucking line in the Bible, and they will look, and the shame of them all, especially in America, I'm just going to straight up say it, that they were given in around the 1870s or 1890s, the Schofield Bible. I believe I'm correct. If I'm wrong, what the fuck, okay? But the Schofield Bible has been used to explain the Bible. I'm sorry, am I too? Why you don't have to explain the Bible to me. I'll read it and I'll figure it out. I'll come into prayer. I believe in meditation because prayer is talking to God, meditation is listening. Two different actions. But anyway, I want to say that what's happening right now, and many of you are going to want to run back into your closet of ignorance, because to see the truth, it's like fun. It's like watching a horror movie, thinking it's a movie, thinking they're actors, and then realizing, oh my God, it wasn't a movie, it's real. These are real footages of what's happening to people, being done to people. The horror of that. The horror. And so what you're really looking at right now is the horror of what you thought was real. It's funny how people keep talking about, oh, I wish I was back in the 80s. Why? I was in the 80s. I was a young woman in the 80s. Why would you want to go back to ignorance and naivete and the struggling and the fight like dogs? You know, greed is good. Gordon Gekko, Wall Street. Let's millionaires. Making us all run from that carrot that's always dangling, and the fucking goalpost is constantly moved. And then we're given like little crumbs of stories of somebody investing $150 on a Bitcoin, right? Or 3 or 4 Bitcoins, multi-millionaire sitting on $120 million. I know, but that's somebody's karma to have that money anyway. They were going to have that money from a lotto, a stock, whatever. It was going to happen no matter what. It just happened to happen through, for example, buying a Bitcoin when they were first released. Do you understand what I'm saying? The goalpost was always changed. Why? Because it distracted you from the real questions. You weren't asking the real questions. The distractions were put in place to keep you fucking off your center, off your power. If we are able to get into the power of opening our third eye, getting the downloads of light code ascension through our crown chakra, being completely activated, where we're actually flashing 3D, 5D. It's like we're going in and out of dimensions and consciousness and holding the line. Remember? We will be able to accomplish a world where we have everything we need. And people who tell you it's utopic, it'll never happen, I will bring them back to the truth. 3,000 years ago, that's how people lived. Fact, until the religion came to the Irish people, that's how they lived. They had what they needed. That's how the Native Americans lived. They had what they needed. That's why when they were trying to buy land from the Native American chiefs, they were saying, I can't sell you something I don't own. They didn't understand the concept of possession. You see, Native Americans were not capitalistic people. They lived together in communities. Some of them were more warring and some of them were more peaceful. The Hopi were peaceful people. The Pawnee were peaceful people. In Africa, there were people that lived in absolute balance. In Asia. So when people say it's utopic, dude, we've already lived a utopic life. What are you fucking talking about? What are you, 12? A cynical little boy that just found out, or little girl that just found out Santa Claus doesn't exist, but now so nothing else exists? Nothing else is possible? That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? This is where I'm coming from. We've lived utopia before. In the recent hundreds of years, we've lived it. It's interesting, too, because there's a movie I really, really, really loved. It's a dangerous movie, apparently, because you can't find it anywhere. Nowhere. It's called The Mists of Avalon. And though it talks about more, the Round Table, King Arthur, how he got Morgana pregnant, but this time it's through her lens. But it's not even about that. It's about the worlds that are about to split. That's why why isn't it out there anymore? One of the great movies, I'm not joking, The Mists of Avalon. We have Lady Hawk, and that's even older, because it talks about things that are very, very powerful. It talks about how the Catholic Church was coming in and removing the mysteries and the infinite possibilities of what could have been. You got to check it out. If you can find it, let me know. Draw me a DM. If you can find it anywhere, let me know. Because the only way you can see that movie is if you buy the DVD. Okay? Why is this all important? Because when you sit there through the new lens that you now have, like if you'd seen it 10 years ago, you would say, oh, what a cool movie. If you sit and watch it through your new way of seeing the world and reality and what's possible and what was destroyed and so forth, you're going to go fuck. It's going to be a long, drawn-out fuck. I'm going to realize why that movie is hard to find. Because it talks about the split until we fell into 3D. But yet I don't think it was written in that intention, because I've read the book. It wasn't, but sometimes we as writers, right? We as teachers, writers, whatever, we get downloads not really realizing all of its content until later. Or a new generation comes in going, oh, Jesus, okay, hello. And so you've got homework. Go watch my video on YouTube. The most important video you'll ever watch. That's the title. I changed it because Yeshua, people are like, oh, I'm not into Yeshua. I'm not. No, I need you to fucking understand what was done to corrupt us, destroy us for generations. And if you believe in reincarnations, that's why you've been so thoroughly well brainwashed. Me too, by the way, where we were so brainwashed that we couldn't see the forest for the trees. We couldn't see the front of our nose. We were cross-eyed with the way we were brainwashed. Generation after generation, incarnation after incarnation. And the fact that we are waking up now is mind-blowing to me, because we're hacking out. We have become spiritual hackers of our own brain. We are hacking out of the system. We are actually we've been given light codes of ascension, and we're using coding. We're remapping ourselves out of this bullshit into a new aligned self, for more downloads to happen, for more ascension upgrades to happen, because it can't happen overnight. You won't survive it. That's why when you go watch David Icke on Gaia.com, his documentary about his life and how he was lit up, woken up. It happened within hours, and it's violent. It's intense. And it felt like minutes had passed for him. Not hours, minutes. And I believe in the man, if you look at how he's aged from the time he came out of the closet in the 80s to now, his eyes are still beautiful and clear, but it has harmed his body, what he's doing. The work he has done, the way he's been treated. Well, I mean, shit, just look at, if you don't believe me, just look at how Shirley MacLaine was talked about when she came out with her book, Out on a Limb. Oh my God, you want to talk about witch hunt? Go back to look at the interviews of these supposed journalists, the way they talk to her, the way they literally rip her apart, laugh at her. Cynicism is not your fucking power. Cynicism is your weakness. Cynicism is fear. It's misunderstanding. And because people don't understand what I'm talking about, they will try to rip you down with laughter, with bullying, with pushing, with literally trying to destroy your reputation. And we're not having it anymore. You can all fucking back off, because now we have power in numbers. And that's the difference. That's what's happening right now. The Great Awakening is happening. It's a domino effect. Some will be so afraid of the power of what they're seeing. Some will be so fear-filled because of the horror they're seeing. Because as you wake up and you're realizing the level of fuckery, it's like a layer cake of fuckery. You go, holy shit, holy. Some people's nervous system can't take it. And thank God some of us can. Thank God. And many of us are ready for it. So go look at that video on YouTube. Comment on that. I'm going to upload this video and on my YouTube channel. Follow me there. And we are on the right track, my friends. We are doing everything right. We are on the winning course. Don't second guess this journey. We're going to win. Actually, fuck it. We're not going to win. We are winning. And that's why they're throwing everything at us. Sending you much love on your journey. Namaste.